All right, greetings everybody, and welcome to week number 13. That is right, week number 13 of your 9443 class, which is your academic libraries class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. Jace K. Austin, and what we are going to do today is a quick state of the course update. Then I'm going to tell you about something that I wish I could have told you about, but I'm not going to have the data to tell you about it. But there's something else that we can discuss this week that is just as pertinent, I feel, and so we are going to discuss that instead. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into that state of the course update. So, let's go ahead and slide this guy over here. It is November the 18th, so we are going to click out of quite a few of these. All right. And so, yes, we've got three more discussion board prompts. So you all really are hitting toward the end here. You have your 13, 14, and 15 week discussion board prompts. So that's only three more. Your first one is actually, wait, what is going on? Hold on. Yes, that's right. Because school stops for the holiday on Saturday, the discussion board prompt won't be due until December the 1st for what you are doing this week. So because we have next week off, you will not have a check-in video from me next week. So that does mean that one of my other classes goes 2 weeks without a check-in video from me, and they are going to be fine. I don't know why I'm talking about them when I should be talking about you all. But yes, so the job comparison final assignment. I do want to talk about this a little bit before I get into the other stuff that I'm going to talk about. So, here's the main thing that I need you all to be aware of, and I wasn't thinking about this. So hopefully you have kind of looked at the assignment prompt. Hopefully you did that actually earlier in the semester. But what I need you all to do, because I didn't think about this, and you should thank your classmate Matthew for bringing this to my attention. So what I didn't think about was the fact that you all actually would need to actually save these somewhere. And here's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to change the language in the prompt at some point. Hopefully later this week I'm going to change some of the language in the prompt. So if you find a job announcement for the type of job that you're looking for, if you find that announcement and you're worried because, of course, the link might be gone. The link might be gone by the time you actually finish the assignment, and this could have been the case throughout the semester. You can very, very much so find you can find like a job announcement, but let's say the closing date for the job announcement was October the 30th or something like that. If you had that closing date and then the announcement isn't there anymore because they've closed and that sort of thing, then there's not much you can do with that announcement. So I should have said this earlier, but I didn't think about it. So yeah, what you will need to do once you find the job that you want, because it might just be something that's linked, I would encourage you to go ahead and you can actually save and contact me if you need help with this. You can actually do like a print screen. I'm gonna kind of show you a crude way to do it. Hold on. Okay, and I'm gonna show you how to do this in Google and Google Chrome. But there are similar ways you can do this in Edge or in Firefox. So what I can do is actually, and I don't even see it up here now, but thankfully I know the shortcut too. If you do Control P, hold on. Okay, and now my recording software might be messing with me, so let me see what happens. If you do Control P, there we go. Okay. So what you can do, let's say that this was the job announcement. I see that it's not, but let's say this is the job announcement. And you're like, hey, Dr. Jace, this might be something that's gonna be gone by the time I'm ready to work on and finish the assignment. Probably the best thing to do is hit Control P when you're in the browser. That will bring up your print screen. And then what you can do is, and I know this is a feature in Edge and in Firefox as well, even though I'm doing this in Chrome, but what you can do is you can save as a PDF. So I would ask you to save as a PDF. And then what you can do after that is once you've saved it, from there you can just kind of, when you're turning in your final in the in the submission portal, in the submission area, you can turn in more than one file at a time. So you can turn in your actual paper, and then if you made PDFs with the actual job announcements, you can just upload the job announcements themselves. You can upload your paper and then upload the job announcements in PDF form, and I can review them that way. That would probably be the easiest way to do things. I'm going to add this language to this assignment, and if this is unclear to you, then by all means contact me, austinj@missouri.edu, or send me a Canvas message, and we will get to the bottom of it, and I'll explain it hopefully in some way that makes sense. Okay, so that's how you can save your job announcements. Some of you have probably already done this, but it was something that I kind of overlooked, and I didn't think about the fact that yes, those links to the job announcements, those can be gone as soon as the job closes. So if you found something that closed in September, then that link might not be active anymore. And one thing that you can do, if you're listening to this now and you're like, well, Dr. Jason kind of screwed me up, because yeah, I hadn't thought about that either. If you find yourself in that position, one thing that you might want to do, and the place that you were looking at there's probably a good chance that they'll indulge you on this. So if you did not save the announcement, one thing that I would encourage you to do is to reach out to the hiring institution, if you remember who they were, and be like, hey, I saw this job announcement, and I needed to save it for a class, and now I see that it's gone. You either send me the position announcement that you posted, if you still have that handy, or if you can just send me the job description of that position in general. And a lot of times, again, they will comply. They may ask you what you're going to use it for. If they know that you're not using it for anything nefarious or anything like that, then they will probably comply. So, but if you run into any difficulties with any of this, by all means, please reach out to me and we'll discuss it further, okay? Because again, I want you all to be successful. I am here for your success. All right. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the state of the course updates. Again, we just had the final in those 3 discussion board prompts. That's all you've got left. We don't have any more sync sessions or major assignments outside of that. Okay. All right, let's go ahead now and shift gears. I'm going to talk about what I had wanted to talk about very quickly. And then I'm going to talk about something else that I can talk about. So first of all, what I wanted to talk about, let me get up here and see if I find the right window. Yes, so this is what I wanted to talk about here, and I'm not pleased about this. And this just came out yesterday because I had been waiting and wondering, okay, what is going on? So every fall, I teach this class only in the falls, and every fall, I do go over the ACRL. ACRL is the Association of College and Research Libraries. It's a division of ALA, and that's why you see ALA up in there in that in that thing there. So yes, every year I share in one of the check-in videos. I share key highlights from the ACRL annual survey. And I did that last year with the 2023 information, which is, where is that? That is somewhere. I'm going to link it. Okay, yeah, I don't see it here, but I'm going to link it. So the 2023 information is out there, and I'm going to be linking that for you. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, so this is the 2023 information that came out in 2024. And so I am going to share this in the announcement. I'm not going to go over that because it's outdated information. And actually, I think quite a few things did change in 2024 as they were anticipating the election. Now, certainly things have changed in 2025 for when we get to the 2026 announcement. But yes, so I had wanted to share this with you all, the 2024 edition, but here's what they've done this time around. What they've done this time around is they are going to have a webinar. Instead of just releasing the report outright in November like they had been doing, they're going to have a webinar on Thursday, December 4th. It's going to be a free webinar. I've already registered for it, and I am going to offer you all the opportunity to, well, not offer you all the opportunity. I'm going to put this information in the course announcement as well, so that if you decide you want to excuse me, if you decide you want to attend this webinar, then by all means, you will be able to do this. It is a free webinar. You don't have to be an ALA member or ACRL member in order to attend. You can register for free. Again, I just did that. And yeah, I will probably in the final check-in video, and I hate that because I don't like devoting the final check-in video to this sort of thing because it's pretty heavy, but I may talk about this in the final check-in video. But if you want to get that information for yourself, then I suggest that you try to attend the webinar, okay? So yeah, this is actually one of the better check-in videos that I feel that I do in this class, and I can't do it this semester because, you know, by the time this happens, I'll only have one more check-in video left to do, and that'll be the closeout check-in video. So that's unfortunate, but again, I would encourage you all, if you have the time and the interest, to attend this webinar on December the 4th and get what you can out of that. All right, and so what I'm going to talk about instead is going to be this, which I wasn't aware of this. I've been busy, you've been busy, everybody's been busy. So I hate that I'm using that as an excuse, but it is an excuse that I am going to use and will continue to use. But yes, so AI competencies, and I know I was just talking about AI in the last check-in video that I did with you all before we had our visit from Coastal Carolina. But yeah, I'm going to talk about AI again because it is a big deal, and this is something that is a big deal within a big deal. All right, so toward the end of October the 22nd, ACRL published that the ACR Board of Directors had approved new AI competencies for academic library workers at the October 3rd virtual meeting. I'm going to read this verbatim. The document expands on the broad definition of AI literacy, tailoring it into a comprehensive library-specific set of competencies applicable to academic library workers. It is meant to serve as a guiding framework for the creation of training programs and as a foundation for communities of librarians to develop their own AI competency frameworks. Given the diversity of roles and job duties among academic library workers, it is not possible to create a set of competencies that apply uniformly to everyone, and I do want you all to remember that. So these don't apply uniformly to everyone. Therefore, individuals, institutions, and others who use the competencies are encouraged to adapt them to specific job functions, responsibilities, and organizational contexts. Okay. And I am going to access this, and I'm actually going to, this will not be required, it will not be required reading for you all, but I'm actually going to add those competencies into the course somewhere, and they will be required reading for everybody from now on, so starting in fall 2026, but it won't be required reading for you all. However, again, I will be linking those in the announcement. So here are the competencies. I looked through the competencies already. So I'm going to go through some highlights. This will probably take about 15 minutes. So we're looking at about a 30-minute check-in video unsped. All right, so let's go over this again. This was just approved in October 2025. So Dr. Jace is not hitting you with some old information right now. And this is something that is new on the horizon. All right. So let's go ahead and scroll down and take a look at what we've got going on here. So I'm going to skip the foreword. And what I'm going to, one thing that I want to just kind of drive home is that actually I'm going to skip the academia piece as well. Just for the sake of, because I'm going to link this. So if you want to read that, you can read that on your own time. But I am going to scroll down to the role of academic libraries here because there is something very important here, which is this right here. So while AI offers opportunities for innovation and efficiency, it also presents significant ethical, social, and environmental challenges that academic library workers must engage critically with. This engagement is becoming unavoidable. So please understand that, folks. AI is being integrated into library software and discovery platforms, often without the consultation of library staff, and that is scary. Yes, there are companies that libraries do business with that are adding AI things to what we use, and they are not asking us our opinions about it or anything like that. They were just doing it As a result, library workers are increasingly called upon to help students and communities learn to evaluate and appropriately use AI tools. So given these realities, academic library workers need to develop some AI literacy, which is the ability to understand, use, and think critically about AI technologies and their impact on society, ethics, and everyday life. All right. However, AI literacy should not imply an obligation to indiscriminately adopt AI tools for all purposes. Please don't do this. Yeah, we do not just need to go and incorporate AI into everything recklessly. And in fact, I would even say, if you're not at one of these quote unquote trailblazing libraries, if you're not at a R1, if you're not at a library that has a reputation for innovation, I wouldn't feel pressed to go out there and start doing a whole bunch of stuff with AI before other libraries do. It is perfectly fine if you are, if you're at the types of libraries like you're not at a AAU, you're not at an ARL institution, ARL being the Association of Research Libraries, which again is different from the Association of College and Research Libraries. ARL, the Association of Research Libraries, is kind of your upper echelon libraries, your Dukes, your Ivy Leagues, your Mizzous, your Washington, St. Louis's, and so forth. Okay. So yes, let the trailblazing libraries do the trailblazing library work. And then if you're somewhere like, and I don't mean to insult anybody, but yeah, if you're somewhere like Truman State or University of Central Missouri or Emporia State or somewhere like that, then by all means you can instead of being on the forefront yourself, watch these other libraries do some things and get some ideas from them. Let the trailblazers be the trailblazers, and it is fine to be a follower. And then adapt things, of course, to how they best fit for your library. All right, academic library workers should retain the ability to critically assess and choose whether to adapt specific AI technologies based on ethical considerations, performance, institutional context, and alignment with the profession's values. Okay, I'm going to skip down here a little bit, and you don't need to know the structure of the document either. You'll see as we go down. This does work in collaboration with the other ACRL competencies. That's the basic thing to know there. And then when it comes to guiding mindsets, I did find this worth mentioning as well. So, and these are not fixed traits, so be a little flexible, but rather they are guiding orientations that help individuals navigate the evolving role of AI in higher education in librarianship. So, guiding mindsets as you approach AI in academic libraries. First of all, curiosity. Remain open to exploring the potential and the limits of AI tools. Skepticism. Skepticism. Approach AI critically, questioning results and representations. Judgment. Balance evidence and institutional context and community impact when making or advising on AI-related decisions. Responsibility. Recognize the importance of thoughtful evaluation and ethical consideration as acts of care and stewardship for your community, and then also collaboration. Seek diverse perspectives when assessing AI tools. Readers are encouraged to reflect on and adapt these mindsets and use them as a foundation for responsible human-centered engagement with AI technologies. I would say especially these guys right here. Curiosity, I think we've already met, but skepticism, judgment, and responsibility, yes. And then collaboration can come later. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and scroll down here. So ethical considerations. So yeah, we've got we've got four competencies here, or four areas of competencies, and they are ethics, knowledge and understanding, analysis and evaluation, and then use and application. So I'm going to go down and just kind of hit on some of the highlights of these. So when it comes to ethical considerations, facilitate and advocate for more equitable access to AI technologies and literacy. This should include, and this is going to be everywhere, includes the ability to identify and address barriers to access, such as cost of premium services, restrictions, and licensing agreements, and centralized control. And then also understand how open source AI models can align with library values by promoting transparency, community-driven innovation, so forth and so on. Nothing I really want to say there. Scrolling down, point 1.2, promote fairness in the use of data and design of AI systems. This includes the ability to understand data on which AI tools are trained may not be sufficiently representative, relevant, or accurate. Yes, please keep that in mind, especially the accurate point. We really still need to be focusing. I think that everything that we do with AI should have a human monitoring it. That's just how I feel. I do feel that if we don't take that approach, then we're just going to let inaccurate stuff just slip through, and nothing is ever going to challenge it, call it out, eradicate it, or anything like that. Also, the ability to identify and address biases that influence the design and fine-tuning of programs as well. Of systems as well as their outcomes. Yes, please know that AIs do have biases. We don't understand the biases fully yet. That's what the research that we'll be doing throughout the rest of probably this decade and next is going to acquaint us with. This, I hope, is important to you, especially if you took my intellectual freedom class. Protect individual autonomy and privacy rights, cultural diversity, and intellectual property rights when using AI systems. So this will include your ability to respect and protect individual privacy rights when using AI systems, including personally identifiable information, putting that and interacting with AI systems when doing that. Yes, so I would be very careful about that. At this point, I'm not trusting enough of AI to the point where, if you don't know that AI is being used in some sort of library software, then there's not much you can do. But especially if I know that there is an AI application being used, I actually still try to avoid putting any sort of personally identifiable information into those AI systems because, again, I just don't trust them. I don't know who has access to them, who's reviewing them, so forth and so on. And in the same way, understand the legal complexities and ambiguities. We're not there yet. That's going to take some literature, but I guarantee you this particular prong right here, there is some librarians salivating to put a journal article together on that, and they will do it, and it will be fabulous. All right. Ensure appropriate accountability for AI design, for the design and use of AI systems, including transparency, explainability, accuracy, and reliability. This includes the ability to understand different responsibilities of creators and users of AI systems. And so, yes, when people are creating these things and pitching them, know what their responsibilities are, know what their agendas and objectives are. The ability to support the creation of more accurate and reliable AI outputs to enhance our information environment. All right, and then finally, point 1.5, consider the broader implication of AI on communities, workers, and the environment. This is big, especially, I think I mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. AI is terrible for the environment, you all. Everybody's using these AI applications and everything. There are computers that actually have to run those AI applications. Those computers leave a huge carbon footprint, and they generate a lot of heat. AI is terrible for the environment. Okay, I want you all to understand that. So the ability to be aware of unseen labor involved in developing and supporting AI systems. Whenever we implement new technology, it tends to be the case that there's unseen labor, at least in the beginning. The ability to understand how the development and use of AI systems are impacting the environment and advocate for more efficient technologies. Yes, we need more efficient technologies. I was just talking about that. Describe risks and opportunities AI provides for individual learning and development, and that's something that's going to just kind of come organically, I feel. And then understand how employers adoption of AI is changing the job market. That is something that I am worried about, and I've told you about my worries about it, but I will also say that unfortunately AI is going to affect a multitude of fields. So I would encourage you not to get discouraged just because AI is going to eat into librarian duties. It is going to eat into a lot of duties. All right, knowledge and understanding. These competencies provide a foundation for developing the basic understanding of artificial intelligence technologies. Having this understanding will help library workers influence how AI is developed and implemented in academic libraries. All right. Okay, so maybe this will be 35 minutes instead of 30, but I will say that area 1, that was the longest one, and these are shorter. So 2.1, develop a basic understanding of AI technologies. This includes the ability to understand and define basic terminology related to AI, such as machine learning, multimodal models, prompting, and semantic search. I am not familiar with a lot of these things. So I'm not even I know semantic search and prompting. I'm not exactly sure what the machine learning and multimodal models are, to be honest with you. That's something that I'm going to have to look up. The ability to understand that generative AI models generate outputs based on patterns and probability rather than stored data. And that is a big deal because, yes, we as librarians, we work a lot with stored data. There are going to be some things that you as a human are going to understand about stored data that currently AI isn't really up to snuff on. Understand that AI technologies have evolved significantly since the term was first defined in the 50s and is now embedded in many technologies that we use daily. Yes, so AI, we've been dealing with AIs for a while. It's just that now we actually have, now it's everywhere. But I remember I was born in 1983. I grew up in the 1990s. I was 6 on January 1st, 1990. So I considered the 1990s when I grew up. And I will say, yes, you had AI even in video games back then, before the World Wide Web and everything. I can remember that when I was a really little kid, before the mid 90s. And yes, in the early 90s, we had this thing called the Nintendo Entertainment System. We also had these what they call at the time next generation video game systems called the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. These were long before some of you probably, I'm guessing that a lot of you, the first video game console you probably had based on your age would probably be the PlayStation 2 or the PlayStation 3. The Super Nintendo actually came out before the PlayStation 1. So we're talking about way back in the day, okay? But yes, the Super Nintendo, it had AIs. The Sega Genesis, I had a Sega Genesis, not a Super Nintendo. When you played fighting games, I grew up playing Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter on my Sega Genesis. And yes, those games had AIs. John Madden Football, I played that. That had AIs as well. So we've had AIs for a while, but things have changed and shaped in different ways now. Know that generative AI creates new content. That's not really, that's kind of obvious. Know that AI systems can generate various types of content beyond text, images, and stuff like that. So yes, we don't even know where the limit is on what it's going to be generating. But we know that it includes it can generate images, video, music, speech, computer code. Understand that AI technologies are often combined with other tools. Understand that the retrieval augmented generation, which I know nothing about, enhances generative AI by drawing on external sources such as databases and documents at a time of response. And understand that generative AI, understand agentic AI, including things that help you set goals, plan tasks, etc., and track how this autonomy can reshape library workflows. All right. And I do see this is probably something that we're going to embrace very quickly within the LIS field, I think, is they're going to be using a lot of these AI to set library workflow goals and that sort of thing. Understand AI attribution and detection. We're still working on this one, guys. So this includes the ability to stay current with recommendations for acknowledging AI use from citation manuals and publishers, and then the ability to understand the AI tools claiming to detect AI generated writing are not completely accurate and can be circumvented. Yes, and this is something that I still worry about with students. AI stuff, as that just said, can be circumvented. And so, like the AI filters, the things that we use to try to keep AI out of the classroom, that stuff can be circumvented. And so right now, I'm kind of at your mercy as far as I'm hoping that you're not using AI for your assignments, at least not to write your papers and things like that. I guess you can use AI to help you with research, but you all are librarians, so you shouldn't want to do that either. But certainly don't have AI writing your papers. Hopefully hopefully you all haven't been doing that. And I will confront you if I do suspect that you use AI to complete a paper. Stay current with AI applications by following reliable sources. Actually, let me speed this up because we are over 30 minutes now. So yes, one thing that I'm just going to go to this one right here. Stay current with new developments in AI by attending webinars, conferences, and other professional development opportunities. Yes, there are probably going to be a lot of AI webinars over the next few years, folks, and I am going to be expecting that a lot of you will be attending those even after you've graduated from this program. I think you're going to be attending a lot of webinars as you do your first librarian jobs. And then finally, a few more things here. Critically evaluate sources of information for AI accuracy and bias. The ability to do this includes the ability to be aware that experts do disagree on many AI topics. I want you all to be aware of that, and understand that there is an ongoing societal debate. And as that societal debate continues to rage on, you will see these competencies get updated as well. Understand AI-related policies and regulations relevant to your context. Understand that these things are going to have to operate within current existing policies such as HIPAA and FERPA. We cannot violate those things just because AI isn't savvy enough at this point probably to be aware of the depth of those things. All right. Okay, yeah, I thought this document was actually shorter than it was in hindsight. Like, it took me just a few minutes to read it, but now as I'm talking about it, it's taking longer. So yeah, again, let me just hit some quick points really quick. Let me see if I can finish this within the next 3 minutes. I'm sorry, y'all. Explain AI technologies and their impacts on library services and resources. So yes, be able to explain how AI tools can help with various library jobs. That's in a nutshell what's going on there. Evaluate benefits and risks in deploying AI technologies. I think that's also self-explanatory, but definitely, again, come back to those biases within the algorithms. That's definitely going to affect some things, and so we need to be aware of the biases that these tools have. Critically analyze AI technologies using a multifaceted approach. That's actually kind of self-explanatory, so I'm going to skip that. Evaluate AI tools in the context of specific library tasks and services. Again, that's kind of self-explanatory. We need to know what AI tools work the best for what library functions. That's basically what's going on there. And then finally, use and application, which is a big guy here, but these are very simple things to kind of internalize here. This is basically how you're going to use it, how you're going to apply it within your library. So one thing, apply AI for task efficiency and quality enhancement. Yes, I would say that AI is probably going to be used more in libraries first to speed up tasks and to enhance quality of tasks, not so much to actually do tasks. It will do that eventually. It'll be performing the task itself. But right now, it's going to supplement and assist with tasks and make them faster and of higher quality. Use AI to facilitate communication and collaboration within the workplace. I feel that that's self-explanatory when you actually read into it. Develop effective prompting strategies for optimal AI output. One thing that I am going to just highlight there again, the refine and adapt prompts to improve AI performance and accuracy. So we're going to have to use the AI, and we're going to have a little bit of trial and error, I feel, and do a few things with it, and get some things wrong before we finally get things right. But as we get things wrong and then we correct these AIs, their performance and accuracy should improve. Explore the capabilities of AI for innovation. That's pretty self-explanatory. And then select AI tools that are designed for accessibility and usability. That's a big one. And I'm actually, for those of you who have already taken 7314, if you took it in the spring or fall, not so much in summer, but if you took it in the spring or fall, you may remember that we had Wolfner Library come in and talk about library services to the blind and the visually impaired. And their Wolfner is actually coming to the reference class tonight. As soon as I finish recording this, I'm going to get that going over there. But yeah, so having said that, yes, they're going to be different. They're going to be differing usabilities, quite frankly, with these AI tools. Some are going to be easier to use than others. Some are going to be easier to use than others based on the disabilities that people have. And people can be patrons or they can be library employees. Either way, considering that, make sure that your AIs are creating as few barriers as possible, and hopefully they are actually even reducing barriers as opposed to creating them. Okay, so that's something to pay attention to there. And yeah, so that is your nutshell. That I am going to go ahead and link this in so that you can look at it yourself, and I'm also actually even going to add it to the course material. So that is it for me. I know I went over what I said I was going to try to do, but we can end it right here at 36 minutes. So I am Dr. Jason. Hopefully AI is not something that will cause your job to be replaced. Jace replaced. I got my rhyme. I can go to sleep, and I will see you all in the discussion boards. Thank you, and ta-ta.